All right, Graham. So now that you've had it a few days, some time to digest, when you look at the entirety of this 2024 season, what did it all mean to you?
Well, I think the 24 season just reinvigorated a fan base, and just sitting here about a week out from the game, very proud of what this team unlocked for our university. Incredibly proud of how they competed, how they represented us on an incredible stage. 17 million people watching the broadcast last week against Texas, and you start to think back on the moments that presented themselves, going back to Camp T, even going back to spring football last year, and as you start to reflect on the journey, I can't help but sit here with tremendous amount of pride, but also excitement for what comes next, and um, anxious to get into next football season as soon as we can.
So when you look back on this specific group of 2024 Devils, obviously the success was tremendous and what they were able to do. And we'll dive into that in a little bit more. But what were some of the ingredients? Like, what do you think made this team so special?
Well, the belief in each other is really what sticks out. I mean, just seeing these guys up close and personal throughout the season, and even in summer training camp, and just the brotherhood that they had formed was pretty evident early on. And a number of people commented on that of like, hey, there's something brewing here. We don't know what this is going to manifest into, but they really seem to like each other. They really seem excited to be here at ASU. They really seem bought into their coaching staff. And I really think that's a key ingredient for successful teams is you got to enjoy the people that you're around on a daily basis from a teammate standpoint, from a coaching staff and extended football staff standpoint. They spent a lot of time together in this environment, and in a long season, even more time together. And so if you don't enjoy the people that you're around with every day, I think that's probably not a great telltale. This team was very connected out the gate. They were also well coached. They were also very well supported, and it was incredible to look back and think of how the fans added so much energy and excitement to what this team did, and how that August 31st game against Wyoming and just the energy in Mountain America Stadium that helped really catapult us into the season. And then week by week, it kept growing. And as the fans were giving energy, the team was playing better, more people showed up to games, and it kind of had that snowball effect as we got deeper and deeper into the season.
And while you weren't in the AD role when Kenny was hired on, obviously just gave him a 5-year extension amongst other things that we'll dive into to help further the strength of this program. Obviously the wins this year are great, and a Big 12 title and the trophy is awesome. But what other aspects have you seen, from him to make that commitment to him and his coaching staff?
Well, I think back on his introductory press conference back in November of 22, and just as a fan, I was excited. I was excited about his message. I was excited about his call to action of all Sentinels coming together in the belief of something special. That something special meaning ASU, and then 2 years later, it's starting to present itself. And I do believe I'm an eternal optimist by nature, but I do believe that this is the beginning of a very special and important run for ASU. And all the key ingredients are there. We've got an alignment throughout the university. We've got a head coach who wants this to be where his best years coaching are served, his alma mater. He's from the Valley. He has incredible connections, but more importantly, he's just a really incredible leader. And watching him go to work every day, the staff that he surrounded himself with, he doesn't want to be the smartest person in the world in the room. He wants to be connected with people who add value to the program that will challenge him to be better as a leader, but also to look at the game from different viewpoints. And then a fan base that's been waiting for this to all kind of culminate of a Sun Devil leading Sun Devil football, and nobody more passionate than Coach Dillingham. And so we're in good hands. Right coach at the right university at the right time. I'm a big believer in that, and can't wait to be a teammate of his for a long time to come.
You spoke of the alignment throughout the university, and of course, just several months ago, Dr. Crow made the announcement of kind of the restructuring and how to further add resources to the athletic department. And some fans were skeptical at the time, but fast forward to today, a couple of Big 12 titles and some big time sports, already in the belt, and some good starts, some other winter sports as well. What do you feel like that alignment has done now that it's had like several months in practice? And what's a reaction you've seen from Dr. Crow? From the university leadership perspective.
Well, incredibly thankful for his support and belief and confidence in what we're trying to accomplish. And his challenge to me and to the department back in May was I want Sun Devil Athletics to be as successful as any other part of the entire university or the entire ASU enterprise can be. And so, we took that call to action to heart and have wanted to create momentum in the early months by, focusing on our fans, focusing on a game day experience, focusing on the ways to bring the Sun Devil family together in a way that manifests itself into excitement and energy and resources that we're able to reinvest immediately into our space. I think that's really a unique part about college sports, even as our industry evolves and continues to navigate all this changing environment. The part that's not changing is everything that we make, we're able to reinvest into the path of a young person. And we're still developing young people through varsity college athletics. We're trying to prepare them for the real world. And so when we sell season tickets or sell corporate partnerships or earn donations from a fan base, we're putting those dollars immediately back into the ecosystem of hiring and retaining great leaders and finding the different ways that we can resource our student athletes across the board and everything that we're here to do. And so it means a lot that the president believes in our abilities as a department, and he wants to encourage us and resource us and motivate us to go have success, no different than every other aspect of the university has over the last 20 years.
No, the Valley sure seems activated from a fan perspective, but how have you seen this football team's run and magical season kind of impact local businesses and their willingness to further the activation of the Valley, invest in the program?
Well, the phone calls are ringing in the office, which is always good when people are reaching out saying, "Hey, how do I plug in? I want to be a part of it." But also, as we continue to connect with people across the entire valley, the entire state for that matter, the message is resonating, and I think people are starting to understand that, hey, there is a productive pathway to using a Sun Devil athlete to promote my business, my product, my service, and that can present itself in so many different ways. And it's exciting that we've got a team in athletics that's very focused on business development, but more importantly, adding value to the people who are supporting the work that we're doing. And so, we're lucky to be in the market that we're in. There's never been a better time, in my opinion, to be a major research university with a Power Four athletic department in a major metropolitan area because we have access to decision makers, we have access to industries, we have access to companies, both big and small. And there's all a journey for them to plug into Sun Devil athletics and our athletes and the environment that we're in. And so I think a lot of businesses want to be tied to ASU because they want our students, they want our research, they want access to the incredible work that's happening on a university setting. And at the same time, as you get a fan base that's energized, we'll have millions of people coming through Mountain America Stadium and Desert Financial Arena, Mullet Arena, Phoenix Municipal, et cetera, over the course of the year. It's a really good way to promote what you're here to accomplish in the Valley. And we want to be driving value in all those conversations every way that we can. And so we've just seen a great spirit of partnership across the business community, across the Valley at large. And that's something that we're very focused on building and encouraging to grow it every step of the way.
Now, specifically through the football lens, what sort of ideas or initiatives do you have to further activate the Valley or continue to kind of foster this fan enthusiasm and support from now until the kickoff of the 2025 season in late August?
Well, we want to keep storytelling and showcasing what this team accomplished, but more importantly, who these young men are and why they chose to come to ASU, why they're choosing to stay at ASU, why they're so bought in on this university, this fan base, this community. I think we are a storyteller's dream come true in the work that we get to do. Around 700 athletes from all over the world that are choosing to come to ASU and represent this incredible space. And so we just want to continue to highlight them as success stories and what they've accomplished or overcome to be here, the reasons that they chose to come here, and what their aspirations are. I think there's an incredible connection point that you can build when a fan finds that connection point to an athlete, whatever that reason may be. They might be studying the same thing, they might be from the same hometown, they may have different things in common based on how they grew up, et cetera. Those are really important connection points, and we've got the responsibility of showcasing these young people in a lot of different ways. And so we're hard at work at that throughout the spring on celebrating the success that our teams are having, really highlighting the individuals behind the teams in an effort to create those connection points, and then really focus on the fall, which will be here thankfully before we know it. We'll be talking about our spring football showcase in April here really soon. We'll be announcing our schedule at some point later this month for the fall, and we want to keep building different ways for people to look forward to that and make sure that they're buying tickets as it becomes a harder ticket. And we've seen that these last couple of weeks, but we're really conscious of building a better game day. What does that mean from a tailgating experience? What does that mean for the entertainment in the stadium, the energy that we want to create, the food program, the merchandise now that we can have so much fun with that. we're really hyper focused on building an incredible game day for our fan base because we want to keep nurturing that energy that the team is feeding off of. And again, like we've talked about, that flywheel that happens when there's energy in the stadium, the team responds and competes hard. That's an entertaining style of football. People want to be here to see more of it, and we just keep snowballing this entire support behind what we're doing.
That game day atmosphere, as you mentioned, there's some changes, in terms of the concessions, parking, tailgating time, of course. Now that the season is in the books, and you look back at them, how do you feel those are received, and maybe some plans for to kind of further enhance the game day experience for Sun Devil fans.
Yeah, I really appreciate the feedback that allowed us to make a lot of decisions. And I think back to the first game of the year again, where that has historically been a Thursday night game going into Labor Day weekend and the start of the semester. And a lot of our season ticket holders have been sharing with us of like, hey, we want this on a weekend. We think a Saturday is easier to navigate traffic and a busy campus. It's a holiday weekend. We're looking for something in Phoenix to do because we're not traveling, and we're large enough as a city that we were going to have 55,000 people that are in town and interested in college football. And so that was a really meaningful change that worked well. And so we're excited to kind of shift that game back into a weekend cadence. But all of our decisions that we make are going to be driven by fan feedback or what builds that better game day experience. And so, we're winding down, the season. So we're reviewing the feedback that we got from our season ticket holder surveys. We're reviewing the conversations that our ticket reps have with fans as they reach out. We're very active on social media, collecting feedback in all the different ways that we can. And all that starts to inform the decisions, the enhancements, the improvements that we'll be making going into next fall. And so I'm excited to kind of get a layer further into that planning. So at some point around the spring game or later in later in the spring semester, we'll make some announcements going into the fall that signal that we want to keep improving and we want to keep elevating how we do game day here at ASU, and hard at work on all those things.
Now the transfer portal window for the winter has come and gone, and as it stands right now, pretty much everybody that can come back is looking to come back in terms of a returning starter for this football team. So many players putting out the enthusiastic "I'm back" post and everything like that. As a leader of the athletic department, what does it say to you about the program culture to see basically everybody coming back and doing so enthusiastically?
It means they love their university. It means they believe in their coaches, that they're bought into one another, and that they know that they're capable of doing some more special things here. And so it just validates everything that we've been trying to build. That these young men who have had success now at the very highest level of college football see what's possible at ASU. And we've talked about it a lot over the last month since we won the Big 12. That going to the CFP has been a dream for so long, and now this team has showed that that can become a reality at ASU. And this team wanting to come back and run it back and join back as Sun Devils just reaffirms that they do believe in their coaches. They do believe in this environment. They are bought into this fan base, and that's the perfect validation that um, a special group of young men who are also very talented at their sport see the value in this environment, and they know they're getting better, and they know they're being challenged, and they know they're being nurtured, and they know they're being supported, and they want to be a part of growing this even further.
Not to necessarily reopen some wounds, but obviously in the Peach Bowl there were some interesting calls that were made. Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, of course, has sounded off on some of these topics, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners would like to know, from a leadership standpoint, whether at university or conference level, what sort of mechanisms can be done or utilized, maybe not to maybe change something that's already happened, but maybe perhaps to improve the performance of the sport and the officiating and to avoid certain things in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations with the commissioner, the night of the game, throughout the next day afterwards, as certain calls were very much the topic of conversation, and we can't go back and change it. They are what they are, and whether or not they influence the game, who really knows? I think there's a lot that goes into those moments, but we've been very focused on how do we use this to help the sport improve. And one of the ways that we can do that is to make sure that everybody understands A, what is targeting, B, that all the officials are viewing the play the same way, and that there's kind of a consistent standpoint on what the play is, so it gets accounted for in game plans. It's coached properly. That the coaches and players alike are very tuned in on it. There's consistency and how it's called, when it's reviewed, and all those things get taken into account. And there's a format to do that. I think what gives me great hope is that the CFP will definitely download everything about the expanded playoff, including the officiating, and make sure that this is a topic of conversation. The commissioner and myself have been very clear that that's important moving forward, not just for ASU, not just for the Big 12, but for the betterment of all of college football, that we get into a situation where there's more standards, there's more checks and balances at a national level for college football, and it's not open to interpretation on a school by school or conference by conference level. And so we're hard at work at doing that. And it's happened. It's in the past. We're very much focused on how do we use these moments to help the sport continue to grow and improve. Because you look at what the playoff has done, it's been, all things considered, a massive success and incredible for the sport of college football, that now 12 schools and all these fan bases and all these different parts of the country are having a chance to be a part of a national championship run and get into that playoff conversation and play more meaningful games in November. That's only good for college football as we continue to grow the industry and everything about it. And so, much like we make decisions based on feedback, the conference is the same way, the CFP is the same way, and we'll make sure that we're using our experience in the Peach Bowl, good and bad, for ways to improve college football moving forward.
Now, talking about moving forward, what do you feel are going to be some of the most impactful changes, in light of the House settlement, and obviously this upcoming year and the years ahead, and for college football can be looking a little bit different in terms of how teams and programs are structured. What do you feel are some going to be the most impactful changes coming up for Sun Devil football?
Yeah, we're all eager to really understand how the settlement plays out in April, and we're progressing quickly to that. About 3 months from today, actually, and we'll be very close to the conversations. We've got a number of meetings at the Big 12 level leading up to that. So we're tracking on the news, and we're making decisions that reflect the environment that we're going to be in. We're prepared to be relevant in all the ways that you need to be moving forward in terms of how we add scholarships, how we manage the rev share, the roster caps, all the new rules that'll change in July. We're tracking on all that. We're prepared to be relevant in a way that's right for ASU. I think what's really important is that we find answers that reflect how this university operates and the opportunities that are unique to us in, again, an incredible market like the Phoenix Valley and the metropolitan area, a place that's dynamic like ASU, where we've got scale, we've got access, we have impact in so many different ways. And so, yeah, it'll be a very busy spring as we navigate just this new normal. And the tried and true playbook in college sports is long gone. We're very much in a design build type of phase as an industry. We're no different here at ASU, kind of as we navigate our own transitions in the past couple of years. So, nobody's crystal ball has been perfect. So I'll kind of reserve comment on maybe any specific changes, but we'll know a lot more as we get deeper in the spring on what this looks like beginning on July 1, and we'll be agile, prepared, and resourced to take it as it comes.
And of course, you mentioned that new normal. Nobody really knows exactly what's ahead, and even just the things that could be happening. With so many things shifting in the years ahead, how do you and Sun Devil Athletics kind of stay as ahead of the curve as possible to the ever changing landscape of collegiate athletics?
Well, I think it goes back to, again, we got to make decisions that are in the best interest of ASU and our athletes and our coaches and our sports. And we're proud to be a member of the Big 12, and we're lucky to be in a conference that's very forward thinking. And so we're always, I feel like, very current on emerging opportunities at a national level, at a conference level, and we're taking that same approach within the walls of ASU and Sun Devil Athletics. So we're very conscious of growing our fan base and getting kids and families plugged in and being a destination, certainly for fall Saturdays in football. Coach talked a lot about that, I think, during the BYU game, of just, it's a hard ticket. It's incredible energy. We want that to be the norm. We don't want that to be a one-time affair during the course of the season. We want Sun Devil football and all of our sports, for that matter, to become really destination events where people circle it the moment the schedule comes out and they want to be here. And so, we're looking at all the ways that we can improve our venues, our fan experience, what it's like to be on campus, the excitement that we can create as a result. And so, yeah, the environment's changing around us, but so what? I think that's a good thing. I think it's a positive that we get more latitude and more ability to make decisions that are right for us and our university and for our athletes, and keep that as the North Star as we move forward.
And last one for you. The only thing that's harder than achieving success is kind of maintaining that level of success. And of course, with everything coming up, what's the department doing to resource Sun Devil football specifically to make January football a regular thing?
We're hard at work. We were back in the office the day after the Peach Bowl, thinking about what do we do differently? What do we start to put in motion? What are the decisions that we make? And so we're going to go through a very comprehensive business plan this spring that really gets us in a position by the start of the summer to be implementing the changes for the year and not using the summer to get ready for the fall, but really using the spring to get ready for everything that's coming at us. We've got an exciting basketball season underway. Hockey's having a great season. We've got baseball and softball right around the corner. Looking at all the ways that we can bring this entire calendar together, starting with soccer in the fall, then volleyball and football, or shortly thereafter, and then taking that all the way to baseball, softball, track and field in the spring. So we're very hard at work building this year-round journey for Sun Devils to plug in. And yes, you might have a favorite sport, but we want to do everything we can to introduce you to all 26 in one way or another, because it's an incredible way, in our opinion, to build community and fandom for kids and families in our market, and let them fall in love with something that's special like ASU. And as they're growing up in the valley and they understand the tool that ASU can be in their lives, that's a big part of it. But we've said this a lot. We're going to continue to stick to the playbook of obsess over the people who obsess over you. Our fans are our lifeblood. We're going to make decisions that have our fan alums, our athletes, our coaches in mind, and keep raising the bar here. We're hard at work. We've got an incredible team in Sun Devil Athletics. We're looking to bring others into the fold that are value add to the work, that are competitive, that are motivated, that are thinking on creating a better experience for the people that obsess over the Sun Devils. And we welcome the pressure. We welcome the expectations, and we're all competitors at heart. And it'll be fun to see how far we can take this. And we're hard at work to do that.